Hey, all, welcome to the Common Good Podcast. Good to be back on a Monday, February 12th already. And we're here with Casey Franklin, my cohort in Red Hat, Blue Hat Talk. Casey, great to see you, buddy.
Hey, you too, man. Great to see you. Hey, question for you.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch the Taylor Swift show? I mean, the Super Bowl last night?
I caught little clips. I did record it because I
Oh,
wanted to see the halftime show. Yes, I don't know why. No, I do know why. Because I said to Shelly, I said, I just feel like people are going to ask me about this. And
yeah.
I want to be able to, I just want to know what's up. And I watched a
Yeah.
couple commercials throughout it, and then it was a thriller at the end. So I happened
Yeah, sure.
to record it. Don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
It was a very good game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nail biter to the end and great game. What can you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, super. I mean, look, they went into overtime. Actually,
Yeah.
there was one point Shelly was like, "Okay, we turning this thing off. Can we finally? I don't know. Let's go into this before the second half,
Uh-huh.
so maybe a few minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I think an interception was thrown or something happened to Kansas City,
Mm.
and the 49ers were up, and I said to myself, "Wow, this is over."
Yeah.
Then I tuned back at the end, like I thought the thing would totally be done. Went back to turned on just regular television, and there they were in overtime. So I got to watch the last drive. And
Exactly. Good for you. That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah, no, it was great. My feeling about the Super Bowl, and I don't know if other people feel like this or not, but I feel like the commercials have really gone downhill. They're not what they used to be at all.
yeah,
And I think the halftime show is always a disappointment. It's just weird and strange, and I can't relate to it. Maybe I'm just getting old.
yeah,
So then when the game isn't any good, then you're like, man, this whole thing is just a total bust. But hey,
mm.
at least last night the game was good.
Yeah. It was good. And I thought that halftime show was kind of. I don't know Usher. I don't think I know an Usher song.
Yeah,
Um,
same with me. No.
he was incredibly athletic and musical, and I mean, just great. And the choreography was bizarre and out of this world. And I'm like, this is just fantastic, just as a
Yeah,
thing to kind of watch.
yeah,
But
yeah,
not really my style. And I just
yeah.
don't care. People who follow this podcast regularly, maybe I mentioned to you, I don't care about football, and I kind of care that people care so much about professional football. So I always have this tug and pull with like,
Right.
man, it's just hard on people's bodies, and it just creates a weird vibe in our country to me. So anyway, I know other people love it, and I don't want to yuck anybody's yum on their football, but
Yeah, right,
I
right.
could not really care less. And then when I found out that the Chiefs won this, the Super Bowl, they'd also won it last year and maybe a couple years ago. Like, so it's like, okay, they're just the best
Yeah,
team. Like I thought they were underdogs going into it.
right. Exactly. I know.
But
It's strange.
to your early comment, I know more about Taylor Swift being
Yeah,
associated with that than anything else.
and it
And a
sounds like you might talk about that.
a bunch of conservatives think that somehow they're rigging football so that Taylor Swift fans look better. Do you know anything about this?
Conspiracy theories. Come on, man. Come on.
Well, do you know? I mean, I hear people literally talking about this, like saying they think the NFL is rigged. Do you follow any of that? I don't really know. I don't.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that. I have heard that uh, the Biden administration and campaign are really hoping to get her endorsement because they
Mhm.
think that might rescue him. But
Yeah,
that's all I've.
because she endorsed him. Well, how come at the beginning you said the Taylor Swift show? I mean, the Super Bowl. Like, what was that? Was
Well,
that
because
not part of the right wing talking points that Taylor Swift is an agent of the DOD and all this stuff?
hey, man, I came up with that all by
Oh,
myself, dude. Yeah,
okay,
man, that's original. That's original to me, dude.
great. Well, I've
No,
heard such stuff. Uh,
right.
all right,
Well, I just thought it was so crazy that they focused on her so much, and we all knew that was
yeah,
going to happen because of this whole relationship thing, which I don't understand. And I mean, honestly, people can do whatever they want, but the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey thing strikes me as like this. Are we in high school? Is this high school
Totally,
football?
dude.
It's
Totally.
kind of weird. I don't know. You probably didn't see. There was another game that Kansas City played, and he scored a touchdown, and Taylor Swift was in the crowd, and he literally, as soon as he scored the touchdown, he literally looked up to the stands and made a cute little heart
Oh
with
my Lord. Oh
her
my Lord.
hand
These people.
right up at her, you know,
No.
and it's just a little, I don't know,
Well,
high
whether
school.
we're wearing red hats or blue hats today, we agree on that, buddy. I
Hey,
don't
all right, I'm glad
get
we can
it.
agree, man.
I just don't get it. In fact, I had to Google because I started watching the second quarter,
Mm-hmm.
and the I thought that this Travis Kelsey, the boyfriend of
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift, was the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback.
Oh, okay.
And then I see this other
Oh, that's
person,
how
so I'm
smart you
like,
are.
I had to Google, is Travis Kelsey injured? Going on? I just literally have no idea. And I could not care
Yeah,
any more about his profession. I hope he does
yeah,
well. I hope
yeah,
everybody in whatever job they feel they should be in, that they really
yeah,
feel like they're thriving. And I hope that for him. And I hope
yeah.
that any love affair brings beauty and goodness to the world. And I hope it's true between
Absolutely.
Tyler and
Travis.
oh,
Travis and
Travis and Taylor,
T.
Travis and Taylor. I mean, I didn't care about Chuck and Diane when they got married
Oh,
as the king and queen or the prince and princess, and I just
yeah,
don't care about any of that stuff. So I'm the wrong guy. I know a
yeah,
lot of people do, and again, if you're into other people's relationships
yeah.
and that drives you, drive
Right,
on. Keep
right,
keep it
exactly.
driving. Hey, quick
Yeah,
check in on the weather. Sunny blue skies, 40
yeah.
degrees in Minnesota.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
no snow. Still no snow in the state of Minnesota all winter.
Oh, right. I
Um,
can't believe that.
how's it looking there in Colorado?
We are finally warming up a little bit. I think it's about 30 degrees, low
Mm,
30s here, and it's sunny. But it's been chilly, and we've been getting a lot of snow. A
wow.
lot of snow. We got a lot, man. We
Well,
got over a foot the other day, and we just keep getting snow, man. It's just crazy. Like I don't even remember what day it was, but it literally started snowing at night in the evening. It snowed all night, and it snowed all day the next day into the evening
oh
of that
wow.
day. So it just kept snowing and snowing and snowing. So
Okay,
yeah.
well, we won't get into your snow management too deeply, but does that trap you into places you don't like at home, or do you get stuck somewhere?
I mean, I if I had to get out, I could always get out. But
Okay.
there's something about being in the Rocky Mountains when it's snowing like that, and you got your wood stove burning, and it's just so
Ah,
cozy. You're like, I'm not going anywhere.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Just stay home. Just stay
yeah,
put.
yeah,
And it's kind of great. People that don't live in snowy places, I think about Yabbits on here and Jim and
mm,
Alex, some of our regulars here that are knowing the chat. They live in
yeah,
Southern California and Florida, Georgia.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe they know snow, but when snow comes and it makes everything clean and quiet and
yeah,
calm, it's
yeah.
pretty great.
It is. It's just beautiful,
It's a little
especially
blanket.
up here in the Rocky Mountains, man. It's just there's just nothing like it, man. The snow sets on the pine trees, covers them.
Mm,
They're just completely, you know, covered in snow. I remember uh, my dad, way back when I was really little. I've got home movies of this where he would get a Christmas tree and get that spray snow
uh-huh.
and what do they call that?
Totally.
Flocking, whatever the tree, make it look like it was snow covered. And we got that on a regular basis here every day in
Yeah.
Colorado. So
Yeah. I forgot about that stuff when we were kids, that they had
yeah,
that spray on snow. I don't see
yeah,
that anymore.
I know.
Maybe it's like maybe
How
they're like
protect the environment.
that killed kids. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. That was turns out that stuff was the asbestos in a can. Um, I don't know. Hey, do you have a puppy or a dog
Yeah, yeah. I
joining
gotta,
us
I gotta
today?
deal with that. Hang on just a
Sweet.
second. You
No,
keep
you don't have to
talking.
deal with it. You don't have to deal with it. It's super sweet. I just know if people are listening and they love dogs, they're going to hear that and their hearts are going to warm.
Gosh,
or they're gonna start
she really
commenting,
wanted,
go take care of your
yeah, she
puppy.
really wanted to end with me, so that's all that
Ah,
was.
I love it. Well, you never have to let the puppies go away. They're welcome to join us. Don't don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. All right, for people that aren't familiar with Red Hat Blue Hat Talk, this is Casey and I. We've been friends for a long time. Met when I was in college. Casey was in high school, and are both now faith leaders from the same place here in Minnesota. Agree on lots of things, play music together when we can. Got to play an open mic a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago, which was super fun with
that
together.
was awesome, man.
And disagree about Donald Trump. So we like to talk about that here in a way that we hope is helpful to others to also watch ways you can talk. And we text regularly back and forth about all this stuff. The rest of you are only getting a glimpse of some of the
Mm,
stuff that we back and forth, and some of it is Trump related, and some of it is just other stuff that's happening going on. So, like a lot of lives, there's more things that happen in our lives than politics, and there's more things that matter in the world than politics. And whether you think the government is a force that acts for good in the world, or whether you think the government is something that we need to do some kind of harm reduction around. However it is, there's a lot of different opinions. So that's what we talk about, and then we come up with certain topics that we want to talk about today.
oh
And
yeah.
in case you were feeling pretty bullish after what happened last week around the special counsel and Joe Biden, do you want to start there, or do you want to?
Oh, sure, sure. I just want to comment on a couple other things too that you
Mhm.
mentioned. First, you know, we. I just think it's important for people to know that we have been friends a long time. We do appreciate one another, and we enjoy each other's company. And although we have strong disagreements, and not just about Donald Trump, and I like to
Yeah.
point that out, we disagree about a lot of things philosophically and politically. But I feel like what we're trying to do here is a model for people how you can have these kinds of conversations and disagreements, which I think we've talked about this a lot. Is becoming extremely difficult for people in this uh, you know, kind of politically charged world and society that we live in. And so I hope that we can talk about a lot of good things. We can have our disagreements, but in the end, uh, we still love each other. We're
Hmm.
still friends, and music brings us together, which hopefully we'll be able to show.
Yeah. Yeah. I should also let people know, if they're going to stick around, that at the end of many of these, we play a little
Yeah,
music, not
exactly.
together, but sort of to each other.
Yeah,
Hey, I was, as I mentioned to you, you knew I was down in Eagle Pass, Texas this last week,
yeah,
and because there was a trucker brigade that was going down and issues around the border and all. And
yeah.
once again, I ended up in a situation where there was a small street, and I've been in this situation many times, and people on one side of the street supporting one idea, or in this case about the border and specifically Trump, a bunch of people in Trump garb, hats like the one you're wearing now, and others. And then the other side of the street were people that were from the town who had a different view about how the border is being managed by the Republican governor. And so there was some protesting and sort of supporting going on because the governor of Texas was going to be there. So there was a couple of hours that were on either side of a street. Now, in this particular case, unlike sometimes when these things happen, these folks weren't all neighbors. The people on the town side of the street lived there, and the other people, none of them that I met, and there were probably 30 or so, were
Mm,
from that area. They'd all come in from out of town. But anyway, so
mm,
we're at this place, and I like to walk back and forth and make interviews. We've had some of them on our
mm,
podcast last week
yeah,
already, and we'll show more. And because they're really, I mean, it so many times it starts out so egregious and hostile feeling, and by
mm,
the end, there's some greater level of commonality, right? But the thing I noticed again, and I think it's important here, is that people on both sides would point at the others and say some version of, or sometimes a quote like this: I'm not sure if those people just hate me
mm,
or if they want to hurt me, but they're
mm,
pretty sure that one or two of those are true.
mhm,
And that is a feeling that's not disagreement. That's not a
mm,
feeling of we have different philosophies. You know, you and I have different philosophies about how the government should function and the role of the
mm,
Justice Department and whether things are totally corrupt from top to bottom and whether we can, you know, all kinds of stuff we can agree and disagree
sure.
on.
Mhm.
But I don't think we feel like we hate each other. I don't ever
Right,
wonder, does Casey
right.
hate me?
Oh, no,
I
no.
do wonder, and we've talked about this before, if you think liberals hate you, but we can get into that later. Maybe I'm just the exception of a liberal that doesn't, or just Democratic politicians. And I don't think you feel like I want to hurt you. And I know you don't want to hurt me. I mean, if I was ever in need, I would call Casey Franklin, you know, top of the
Mm,
list of people.
mhm.
But
No.
man, not everybody feels that way. They
Yeah.
feel like, and buddy, I was warned by people, you know, who believe the way I do politically, like, oh, you're going
Mm,
down there to those truckers. Are you going to wear a flak jacket? And look, I
mm,
understand why they think so because there's been times where, you know, I was thinking very deeply about a time when a guy drove to southern Texas to the border of town of El Paso and shot up a Walmart after
mm,
laying out, you know, his guns and then spelling out the name Trump and then made a manifesto saying he supports Trump, went down and killed people. Now, I don't think that's most Trump supporters. I don't think that's most of any people. I think it's a very, very fractional number. So that could happen. But
yeah.
people weren't like, hey, there could be a random mass shooting. They were
Mm,
just like, if you're going to go interact with those people, you should be afraid of them. And then
mm,
people that lived in this town were desperately afraid because people were coming into town and some of them the FBI arrested and some of them local police arrested for all kinds of reasons. So there's reasons that people feel like they should fear the others, but it's deeper, man. It is deeper than just that. Like there is something
mm,
afoot in our culture. And I'm going to today suggest that I think Donald Trump exacerbates that. And I'm going to show a tweet and or a truth post and stuff
mhm,
that I think is a part of all of this and what he's doing, where he's laying out new boundary markers and ways to view each other and how to think about each other. Um,
mm,
but I think what we're trying to do is acknowledge that that's real and then
mm,
show that, look, you can have very strong disagreements, as I do with members of
mm.
my own family, but we love each other anyway. And we're
Yeah,
all in this. And I
yeah.
said, so I'll let you respond after this one last comment. I said something the other day around some people that totally know me and think well about what we do and all. And I said, hey, look, the hardcore Trumpers and even the insurrection supporters, that sub crowd, they are America too.
Mm,
And man, the look on these people's face was like, okay, yeah, yeah, true. But
mm,
I'm like, no, no, really, like full stop. There's no
mm.
not that is America. That
Right.
that is whatever the we the people is, whatever the us is, it is all of us. And
Mhm,
if we have any notion of taking back our country from those people in any way that it doesn't leave the country for those people,
mhm.
man, I don't know. We're up to something else that
Yeah,
that I certainly don't want to be up to. So anyway,
yeah.
any thoughts about all that long little rant? I
Yeah,
know
I
it's
think
been a
that's
few
well
weeks since we've been
said,
together. So
yeah, no, I think it's well said, and I think, you know, it's hard because, I think people feel I know I feel this way, and I'm sure you feel this way, that with everything that's going on, around us, that the stakes have never been higher. And so, um, that's why I think it raises everyone to this kind of level that sometimes is unhealthy. But yeah, I mean, the stakes are really high, and that's why, I one of the reasons that, it troubles me when I hear, the president, try to demonize Trump followers too, because I don't think that's helpful either. So, anyways, I think
mhm,
we all just kind of like bring down the blood pressure a little bit,
mhm.
and try as best as we can to have reasonable and logical conversations about our differences.
Mhm. And in some ways, this is new. In some ways, it's not. There's this Bruce Springsteen song from an album from 2008 called "Devils and Dust,"
Hmm.
and I think it's the song "Devils and Dust" where as Springsteen likes to write. He writes songs from a character's perspective, and he's inside the mind of a person who's in Afghanistan at a checkpoint.
Hmm.
And he says that he writes this song because that's sort of the clarifying moment that also is the full American experience with each other. And one of the lines in the song is, "I've got my finger on the trigger, and I don't know who to trust. I look
Hmm.
into your eyes, and I only see devils and dust. And
mm,
it's about this guy who in a car is driving up to a checkpoint
mm,
in
mm,
Afghanistan, and sorry, I have to fix something on my screen there. And
mm,
and this guy's in this untenable situation where he's got life and death in his hand, and he doesn't know what to do. And man, that's a thing. Springsteen was touching into that in 2008, right?
mm.
And we've had civil wars, and we had civil rights movements, and we've had KKK movements, and we've had reconstructions. Our country has been through this kind of stuff. We've had
Yeah,
internment camps in the
yeah,
United States,
yeah,
where Germans and Japanese people were not allowed to move freely. We've had slavery in this country that was a root of it, and so we've been through some things. So I agree with you. The stakes are high,
mm-hmm.
but I think they're high like they've been high before. Anyway, whether or not they've never been higher, not in my
Yeah,
lifetime they haven't. I get that. I think we're living in times that
I was,
match historic moments.
yeah, I was just going to say, in our lifetime, I think it's
Yeah,
sort of unprecedented. But yeah, you go back further in history, and things have always been
yeah.
wild and crazy.
And okay, not to get fully lefty on you here, but just for a brief moment. Uh,
Please do.
when my friends from Black communities and Indigenous communities and non-dominant communities
Mm,
hear this conversation, they're like, "Well, welcome to the story, gentlemen, because you
mm,
now living your social location feel that way. We have felt that way for a
mm,
very long time.
mm.
We don't know who to trust, feel like the system is not on our side, feel like we're
Mm.
being targeted, feel like
Yeah,
we're in danger. So the thing that you're like, hey, we never felt this before, this is new. They're like,
mm,
if you want some tips on how to live in this, we've been here and we've been
yeah,
living through it. So it's also, I mean, it's a thing. And even people in those situations who've lived through those situations feel like there's something up politically where the
mhm,
boundary lines are just super
mm,
hard drawn. Um,
mm.
can we just stay on this one for a second since we're talking about this, and then we can get to your thing? So
Yeah,
I'd mentioned to you that I showed you this truth post from Trump the other day, um,
mm,
and I think it gets at it. So I've got it on the screen now, and so this is something Trump recently put out, and he said,
mhm,
2024. I'm reading it for people who either have a small screen or just to listen to the podcast. This is Trump's writing. 2024 is our final battle. So right out of the chutes, like, okay, I get it. In politics, we do war metaphors, but come on, man. All right, so it's our final battle, very, very apocalyptic. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalist. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. And we will
mhm.
throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will drain the swamp, and we will liberate our country from these tyrants and villains once and for all. Now look,
Amen.
that to put politics in that frame, not we will live together with our differences, not we will find the better angels of our nature, not we have difference of opinions and everyone is an American.
Mhm,
But this kind of stark language, and so now I'm going to play something that you've seen before, and this is the people inside the Senate chamber during the insurrection. The person leading the prayer here, Jason, was then convicted of his crimes, served his time, and now is running for Congress. The guy you're about to see is
yep,
running for Congress in Arizona, and says that his work in the insurrectionist activities is a feature and not a flaw. But I just want people to hear the same language that Trump says here that these people said in a prayer inside the Senate chamber. So people took these words, either they took Trump's words and utilized them as the rationale for their activities of the insurrection, or they
mhm,
shared the same source words. But anyway, it's
mhm.
almost word for word the same thing. So here
All the
it
way
is.
back to the monument of DC.
Jesus Christ, we invoke your name. Amen. Let's all say a prayer in this sacred space. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for gracing us with this opportunity. Thank you. Let me take it back.
He's got to take his hats off because he doesn't want to pray with a hat on.
Thank you, Heavenly Father. Amen. For this opportunity to stand up for our God-given unalienable rights. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us in this building, to allow us to exercise our rights, to allow us to send a message to all the tyrants, the communists, and the globalists that this is our nation, not theirs. That we will not allow the American way of the United States of America to go down. Thank you, divine, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent Creator God, for filling this chamber with your white light of love, with your white light of harmony. Thank you for filling this chamber with patriots that love you and that love Christ. Thank you, divine, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent Creator God, for blessing each and every one of us here and now. Thank you, divine Creator God, for surrounding and filling us with your divine, omnipresent white light of love and protection, peace and harmony. Thank you for allowing the United States of America to be reborn. Thank you for allowing us to get rid of the communists, the globalists, and the traitors within our government. We love you and we thank you. In Christ's holy name we pray. Amen!
All right, the tyrants, the communists, the globalists, the traitors, includes Mike Pence and a whole bunch of other people in that sense. And look, I just think this language that Trump uses in these posts and that he says in rallies, people take that as action. I don't think those were FBI fakes doing that. I think they're wearing Trump garb because they actually believe it, and they're taking the marching orders from their leader. And the leader says it's a final battle, and that's not metaphoric. Is my point. They're not using a simple metaphor here. So anyway, when you see Trump say that stuff, you were saying amen earlier when I read it. You obviously feel it different than the way I'm feeling it.
Yeah. No, I mean, first of all, again, like I was saying before, the stakes are really, really high. They're the highest that we have ever experienced in our lifetime. And I think what Trump is trying to communicate is that the stakes are high. And I mean, for you to say the final battle is not metaphoric, I don't know how you come to that conclusion, because it is metaphorical. That's very metaphorical language. And what he's saying is that, this is the most important election. This is the most important fight. Politicians use the word fight all the time, that we've ever experienced. And there are globalists and there are Marxists in our government.
Yeah.
And
are they Americans too, though?
I assume so. But that doesn't mean that they're right. I mean, sure. Not all Americans are right. And some Americans are criminals. So I think all he's saying is that we have a battle, we have a fight, and all the things that he's saying about the media and about the government and about the agenda of the radical left, which is what he's talking about, is true. And we have to do something about it. We can't allow things to continue the way that they have been going. And he's experienced it firsthand. He's experienced the deep state firsthand. He's experienced this corruption firsthand. So I think that's all he's trying to say. He's rallying his followers. I mean, that's what leaders do. And the fact, and talking about the video that you showed, I mean, this is the thing that gets me. I'm like, okay, you guys say that this was an insurrection, that this was an attempt to overthrow the government, that, I've even heard the term armed insurrection.
Yeah.
And then I see people in the Capitol building that you showed praying. And I don't see anything wrong with prayer. I don't see anything wrong with praying. And I'm like, you guys think these people were here to do something terrible and awful and no good and, just horrible? And yet what I see them doing is praying for our country. I even hear the word peace and harmony mentioned in their prayers. So I don't understand where you guys are coming from on that at all.
Can I make a suggestion about what we're meaning? And I know in first or second one of these we did, I was suggesting there was a reason why the insurrection happened on January 6th, 2021 because it was designed to prevent the certification of the election from 2020
Mm-hmm.
as a constitutional requirement to make official the next president of the United States. They weren't in the Capitol having a prayer meeting. They were in the Capitol to stop the certification. They were there to interrupt government proceedings, to stop them from happening. They weren't invited into the Senate chamber to pray. They forcibly made their way there. They beat police officers. Some shot them with bear spray. Some beat them with flagpoles. They broke windows and crashed in and threatened the life of the current vice president, the then vice president, to the point that Secret Service was under severe pressure to keep him safe. There were people barricaded in the House chamber. So to say these are people that were simply there exercising their rights and wanting to pray, they weren't. It would be like me saying, well, if I broke into your house to stop you from doing your regular life and then I chose to pray there, then that makes it okay because all I did was pray. No, I interrupted your life. I interrupted your safety. I threatened you. Doesn't matter if I pray or not. So the fact that this Insurrection Day is not understood as intended to stop the certification, when that is without a question why it happened on that day and why there was why all this was going on. Does that, I don't know, does that make any more connection about why people legally and in media and, you know, to regular friends like me call it that?
Yeah. Well, I know that's the narrative. That's the far left and the propaganda media narrative that has been propagated. But I think there's more to the story than that. And I don't think these were bad people. The government building is supposed to be the people's house. And so some of them did bad things, yes, and did things that I really wish they hadn't have done. And those people obviously should be prosecuted. But we see things like this all the time. I mean, we saw the same thing with other groups being there, disrupting official government proceedings, people forcing their way into the building and creating protests that are illegal. We see, people threatening Supreme Court justices' lives, protesting outside their homes, which is illegal,
Mm-hmm.
and threatening their lives.
And they're arrested
And
for that. Yeah, those are crimes.
no, they're not. No, the people that were there protesting outside Kavanaugh's house,
Yeah,
were not arrested.
no, I was speaking of the people who threaten the lives of justices.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to protest at their homes either.
Not
And
illegal,
so
but yes, it's unadvisable. You can protest. You can protest anywhere you want in public space in this country. You and I both know that. That's a thing you get to do. Sometimes you pull a permit. Sometimes you don't. Yeah, people
I
can
don't know about
protest. People can protest anywhere they want.
Okay,
Nobody.
including
Yeah.
the Capitol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can protest the Capitol. You can't break into the Capitol. I mean, I've protested the Capitol many, many times. I protested at the Supreme Court steps and been arrested for violating the law. I stood at the steps of the Supreme Court, unfurled a banner with 17 other people that said, "Stop executions." The Capitol Police came to us and said, "Take down the banner and leave these steps." We said no. They said, "If you don't, we're going to arrest you." We said no. They arrested us. That's a peaceful protest for which we were arrested. I was arrested for violating the statute and for violating the statute of holding up a banner at the Supreme Court steps and for not following the instructions of Capitol Police. Went to court and was found guilty and all the rest, and was willing to do that in order to raise the awareness that we need to stop executing people. That was during the Obama administration. I was protesting the actions of our federal government and our state governments in the Supreme Court during the administration of a president that I agree with. I've also been arrested during Trump's time outside the White House. You can do that stuff. That is not interrupting. You know what I was not charged with? Interrupting an official proceeding, trying to stop the government from functioning its constitutional practices. If I had done that, we have another word for that, which is trying to stop the government from doing what it's doing and not installing a new leader. That's what we colloquially and in reference in law refer to as an insurrection. So that's the difference, Casey. And the idea that you're conflating protesting or a group of people getting out of hand and not attaching to it the reason they were there on that day. They said that's the reason they were there. Everyone agrees that that's the reason they were there, was to stop the certification of the election.
No, I don't think they were all there for that reason. And I think if you were to talk to some of them that were there, they wouldn't tell you that that's why they were there. Some of them were there to protest. Some of them were there to support Donald Trump. Some of them, I mean, you can't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean the people who were arrested for these actions. They know what they were doing. Yeah, I'm sorry. That I didn't mean the 10,000 or 20, 40,000 people that also got. I mean, there's a lot of people who probably didn't know why it was January 6th at all. Right?
Yeah.
They're just chum in the water, to borrow a metaphor.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. We just found out that the government was trolling people with their bank accounts and what kinds of transactions they were doing. Even if they walked into a Bass Pro Shop or they were in the vicinity of Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I mean, this is crazy. This is like CCP China stuff that our government was doing to. I mean, this is just out of hand.
Look, all bank transactions are monitored by, if they're part of a the FDC, they're monitored by the government all the time. Every single one of them that you do. This is why you can't deposit more than $10,000 a day. This is why if you try to take out more than $10,000 in cash, there's all kinds of things that the government does all the time that monitors people's spending behaviors. This is a big part of what Secret Service does, both around fraud and also other activities. Look,
no,
I know that you might be shocked that this is what the government does, but that is not that.
No, I have to differ with you on that because I worked for a very large bank for a number of years. So I happen to know how these things work. And my understanding, and if you find something different, let me know. But my understanding is that the government does not actively monitor Americans' banking and credit card transactions because that would be against the law. That is a privacy thing. That is against the Constitution. You can't do that. But there is something called a suspicious activity report that a bank can file to the government when you walk into a bank and let's say you deposit more than $10,000 or you you deposit like a bunch of transactions all at once or anything that would appear to be suspicious to the bank teller when you're there, that the bank teller would go, that's kind of weird. I wonder why this guy has so much cash. Why is he putting all this cash in the bank? Because the banking laws are designed to prevent money laundering. That's what they're really concerned about. And that's why these regulations are put into place. And so then the bank files a suspicious activity report, which, by the way, Hunter Biden has like 100 of, which is very strange for one person to have that many suspicious activity reports.
Sure, filed. When we find the laptop, we're going to be fine.
Oh yeah, we got the laptop.
Where are we on that? Okay, go on.
Yeah. Oh, we got the laptop. Don't worry. So that's how it works. The government doesn't just reach into your business like that automatically and search for transactions with keywords like MAGA. That's not the way the laws written. That is unconstitutional. That is breaking many laws.
No, it's
So
well,
that's
look,
not how
I
the
mean,
banking system works. That's
I
not
get it.
how.
I get it that that's what you're describing. And yes, you're right. And I didn't mean to say that they're looking at every single transaction from every single person. What I was saying was that the government monitors bank transactions every single day, all the time. Not every transaction, but they do it. And they
Right.
also now counterterrorism actors or authorities and the FBI, they're monitoring all kinds of behavior and actions. Look, I mean, if someone's searching Al Qaeda, they're searched. They're paid attention to. This goes on all of the time. And during certain activities, if they have credible reasons to think there's going to be terrorist activities or things that the FBI or other terrorist agencies need to be involved in, they're monitoring that stuff in so many ways that we don't know anything about. Now, I'm glad you know about it, and I'm glad that people know that terms like MAGA, or if people are buying loads of Bibles, or if people are buying a bunch of guns, that the FBI is like, hey, what is going on? Because they know that religion, Christian religion, has been utilized by many of these groups to authorize the actions that they engage in, because they know that many terrorist activities are rooted to that kind of thing. Now, look, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish people would stop using the Bible and guns and weaponry to justify what they're doing. But this notion, again, that somehow this is targeting or deep state, or look, if you don't want law enforcement, I know we go back and forth about this on text all the time. If you don't want there to be the FBI and all the rest of it, fine. Or if you want it to be reformed, fine. But the idea that somehow MAGA people are the FBI is setting them up or doing all that, I don't know. You know, I mean, we don't have to go down that. We don't have to go down that route again. But
I just don't think it's right that Biden's government has been weaponized to target people who support his political enemy, to the point where if you buy a Bible, you could be a domestic terrorist, or you buy a gun, or you shop at Cabela's, or you
that's not what's happening
somewhere.
All right. So I know you believe that Biden is weaponized his Justice Department. I am positive Trump did. So can we agree that any president who weaponizes their Justice Department, no matter what political party they're from, is in the wrong? Can we agree with that on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ever show me that Biden has done it, I will agree.
Examples.
Then I will agree with you. He shouldn't do it. If I can show you that Trump has done it, will you say the same?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. That's what I trust. Okay. All right. And you had some stuff too. Okay. I have one more and then I'll be done with my silliness. Donald Trump apparently also on Truth Social is really bothered that Taylor Swift doesn't like him. Now, I don't care what Taylor Swift does. You don't care what Taylor Swift does. Donnie cares what Taylor Swift does. He writes, I signed and was responsible for the Music Modernization Act for Taylor Swift and all other musicians. Okay, first of all, Trump, if you think that you're passing laws and signing laws to benefit certain musicians and then they owe you, you don't understand the role of public service. But anyway, I'll go on. It says, Joe Biden didn't do anything for Taylor and never will. There's no way she could endorse crooked Joe Biden, the worst and most corrupt president in the history of our country. That's called projection in my mind. And be disloyal to the man who made her so much money. The idea that Donald Trump believes that if he passes a law that helps someone, they owe him loyalty. Casey, I gotta tell you, this is the stuff this is why some of us say cult leader, right? So he says she's disloyal to the man who made her so much money, as if Donald Trump is responsible for Taylor Swift's success. Besides that, I like her boyfriend, Travis, even though he may be a liberal and probably can't stand me. Like, whatever, a former president of the United States, current candidate, leading Republican candidate, is on doing this, it's both silliness and utterly pathetic in my mind that he would do this. But this notion that somehow loyalty is owed to the president from citizens, the president should be loyal to the Constitution and loyal to the voters and never ask for it the other way around. It is just simply a sign of a man who doesn't understand what the role of the presidency is. Okay, sermon complete.
All right. All right. Well, did he sign that Music Modernization Act?
I don't know. He said he did.
Yeah, he did.
I have no
He did.
idea. No idea.
Yeah, he did in I think it was 2018 October. So, he did something good for musicians. As you know, the music industry has changed a lot. I mean, you and I used to listen to records and tapes and then CDs, and I even remember 8-tracks. And of course, now it's all gone to digital with Spotify and Apple and all that kind of stuff. And the law had not kept up with any of that, and the musicians themselves were not getting their fair share of their royalties. And so Trump decided, you know what, that's not fair. That's not right for independent musicians or musicians in general to not get their full royalty. And I've, recently, as you know, putting out some music out there, I've done some research on this, and there is a lot of revenue and money streams that get lost, and that the digital music companies were capturing and not returning back to the songwriter or the song performer. And there's a lot of crazy
but that was
laws.
that was pre 2018. You're saying now it's fixed, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Trump fixed it.
So you're saying that when you look now, that's not going on. All the revenue that's owed to musicians goes to musicians now, right?
Well, in theory, yes. The musician has to make sure they're doing things.
They're doing their thing.
properly.
Okay.
Well,
So
yeah.
who was the sponsor of that bill? Do you happen to know, in the House or the Senate sponsor? Because the way you framed it, that Donald Trump decided this, that's not what presidents do. Presidents don't make laws.
Right.
Presidents sign laws into effect. So just to be clear, Donald Trump didn't decide. Donald Trump didn't decide this. Congress passed a law that Trump signed.
Right. But he agreed with it.
Okay, but is loyalty owed from any voter who's benefited from any law? Is loyalty owed to the president or to the senators or to the House members who passed the law?
He's not even pull the tweet back up. Did he use the word loyalty in there?
Yeah, I'll read it again. It's the middle. There's no way she could endorse crooked Joe Biden, the worst and corrupt president in the history of our country, and be disloyal to the man who made her so much money.
Right. All right. So disloyal. Okay, there it is. So I think what Trump is trying to say is if she should endorse anyone, she should endorse him, because he actually did something for her and allowed her to make more money than she would have otherwise because of the law that he signed. Now, this whole loyalty thing, whatever, I don't know. I know loyalty is a big deal to somebody like Donald Trump because he's experienced so much disloyalty throughout the years.
Oh, yeah.
People turning on him and all that kind of stuff.
Wonder why they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, I just think it's clear as a bell. The president shouldn't be demanding loyalty from voters. It's pathetic and it's weak and it's silly and it's dumb and okay, all the rest.
That's not his point. His point is why would she? Oh, listen. Let me speak. Why would she? All he's trying to say is, why would she endorse somebody who's crooked and corrupt when there's somebody like myself who actually helped her and did something good for her? Why would she not look at me as someone who is better to endorse than somebody who didn't do anything for her and on top of it is extremely corrupt, and in fact the most corrupt president in the history of our country?
Maybe it's because she decided that a twice impeached, 91 time indicted criminal is not the person she wants to endorse.
I'll tell you what.
So, okay,
let me tell you what.
But the point being that you believe that you follow his logic that if he passed a law that benefited her, her loyalty, at least voting or otherwise, should be to him. So I will then just say to you, Casey, if you've benefited from any of the policies, the myriad of ones that have helped your life that Joe Biden has passed, your loyalty will be to him, right?
No,
All
no.
I need
This
to do is show you how you made $1 or $1 million more because of Joe Biden. I don't want to live in a country where anyone thinks that their president is giving them money to buy their loyalty.
no.
Come
The
on.
point. I agree, but the point is, first of all, Joe Biden has not had any policy that has benefited me personally,
Really?
and I think
Okay.
many Americans feel that way because you just look at his approval numbers. Everybody realizes that all of his policies are hurting us, especially financially. So there's that. But the point that any politician who's seeking election tries to make is, hey, look, if you vote for me, or if I've done something good that's helped you, then I deserve your vote. That's the whole point of politics. This is what politicians do. They campaign. They say, if you vote for me, I will do something good for you. I will make your life better. I will improve things. I will make America better. I will make America great again. Whatever. And he's already been president, and he's already done something that benefited her. So all he's
What if
saying
she
is,
doesn't? What if she doesn't believe? What if she's like you with Biden, who's just and she's just
well, that's
blatantly
up to her. Everybody gets to
unwilling
vote
to
however
believe?
they want, and the
But
people get to speak. That's the way it's supposed to be, rather than taking someone off the ballot so that you can't vote for them.
well, they're being taken off the ballot because it fits your state's
No, no,
determination. That's why. But look, Casey,
no.
the point is that even the phrase, I'll just say, and this is one of the places we disagree, that the phrase, if a politician does something that's good for you, then they deserve your support. This notion that we're in a transactional relationship with politicians
Why else do you vote for someone if they're not going to enact policies that benefit you?
because it
You know,
benefits oftentimes because it benefits others, because there's a lot of times that people are supportive of policies that don't only work in their interest, they work toward the common good. The whole point, people do this all the time.
common good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's that. Okay, well,
it's a
you
vague
have,
notion, buddy, that you might
you
want to look
have,
into sometime in the American lexicon.
yeah, yeah.
The notion of
Well,
the
the current
collective good.
president is not helping the common good right now.
Okay, I know you think that, but you look at the facts, and we should do a whole thing here about like 2020. Remember how your life was in 2020? Look at your life in
Name
2024, and buddy,
one
you're gonna be thrilled. It's
right,
Are you
because
making
the
more
China.
money? Are you making more money now than you did in 2020, Casey? Let me just ask you that, because if you are, then your loyalty is owned to Joe Biden.
Yeah, right.
And
Well,
you know what I remember? I remember when conservatives used to say, "Don't tell me that I'm making my money because of the government. I make my money in spite of the government." But now it's all, "Oh, I couldn't make a dollar without Donald Trump." Okay.
no, Ronald Reagan famously said, "Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?" And I
Mhm.
guarantee you,
Are you?
the majority of Americans, no, I am not.
You're not
Far
making
from
more money than you were in 2020?
no, no, not any
Really?
close, not
And
anywhere close.
what policies of Joe Biden's have caused you to not make more money?
Uh, Killing energy in this country, canceling the Keystone Pipeline on day one,
Yeah,
and
you're not making more money because of that? Are you in the oil business? What?
no, I'm paying more money. Do you want to know what my utility bill was for last month to heat my house?
Uh-huh. Well, what?
It
How
was
much? Yeah, I mean, just do a quick
unbelievable.
screenshot of year over year, which we can get on our bills pretty easily. Go 2020
Me.
to 2024 and see if it's
I'm
see
going
if
to
it's a
tell you.
difference.
I'm going to tell you right now. I
Uh-huh.
have never seen a utility bill this high in my entire life. And
And
you
the
know how old?
rates and the rates have gone up.
Yeah, the rates have gone up. Inflation's gone up. Everything's gone up, except for people's salaries and pay.
Oh,
So
more people,
let me
more
say this. No,
look, more.
no, you can't tell me that.
Okay,
And jobs are there's no jobs.
there's more jobs. There's more
No,
jobs now than there was at any time in American
there's
history.
no there's no full-time,
Unemployment. Okay,
well-paying jobs. They're
all
all
right.
part-time,
Okay,
minimum wage jobs that they're touting. So my bill, let me just tell you this.
okay.
My utility bill
Uh-huh.
to heat my house was $450 last month.
What was it the month before?
I think it was like 3 something.
And was that higher than normal?
Yes.
And last winter, what was it? Like year on year? Like how much has it gone up?
It was, I don't think we've ever seen it go higher than $300.
Mm-hmm. Was it
Ever.
colder?
Yeah, it was colder last year than it is this year. Than it has been this year.
So then rates must have gone up. When you look on that bill, it will tell you kilowatts per hour. Now we're really into nerddom. And the number is increased by how much? And you're saying that's Joe Biden because the Colorado utility raised its rates because of the pipeline, because of the Keystone Pipeline.
Because of Joe Biden's policies, energy overall is more expensive. He just killed the liquid natural gas in Texas. Okay. I mean, when you don't have energy, it's supply and demand. When you don't create energy, and you don't allow oil companies and gas companies to produce energy, right? Then you have less of it, and the utility companies have to raise the prices, just like restaurants have to raise their prices when beef and the food that they buy to prepare the meals goes up. They have to raise the price, just like the gas stations have to raise the price when their costs go up. But Joe Biden says that the grocery store companies and the gas companies are gouging people. That's his. I mean, first he said it was all Putin's fault. Now he's saying the grocery stores and the gas stations are gouging people because it doesn't have anything to do with anything he's doing. And all you have to do is look at the price of gas when Trump was president.
Really? Okay.
And it's just
okay. I mean, dude, you want to make the price of gas argument on the president? We can do that all day long because it's a quick.
The affects
it has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But again, I just we'll stop this.
I understand your thinking. Trump just got lucky that gas just happened to be low when he was allowing more oil and gas to be produced in the United States. And Joe Biden is just unlucky. He just happens to be president at a time when everything is just on the rise and he just can't do anything about it. He's just totally helpless, just like he's helpless with the border. He can't do anything with the border. It's all the Republicans' fault. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Okay. Now you're keying me up here because if you want to talk about what people couldn't get done, we can start through lock her up and build the wall and deep state and all the stuff Trump didn't get done. So we can do this all day long. My suggestion to you is that no, gas prices are a global commodity. More oil is produced in the United States now than was produced in 2016 through 2020. The rates are higher. There is more of it.
Because I don't agree with that. That can't be right.
Okay, we can follow up after this with some Google searches.
I'll send you the truth.
I would appreciate it. And gas prices are related to a whole manner of things that have nothing to do with presidents. And anytime, and look, you can follow me back to 2002 when short of an invasion of oil-producing countries that caused gas prices to go up. Other than that, presidents don't control gas commodity prices.
Control them. You're putting words in my mouth. Presidents don't control any price.
Nor are they responsible for them.
But they control levers of government, as you know, that do affect prices, including things like the price of oil. The price of oil directly impacts the price of gasoline at the pump.
Yeah, but the price of oil is a global commodity. It's controlled by OPEC and the United States and Russia. And look, when Russia goes to war against Ukraine and the third largest oil producer in the world
never happened under Trump, which would have never happened under
No, because of course not, because he would have let Putin do it. He's even said that. He has literally said, okay, hey, you've got stuff about Biden's boxes. We're almost out of time, and I don't want to miss your highlights of your point. So I was just going to do all that quick. But Hey, this is the kind of stuff. Imagine Casey and I on text having to do this stuff back and forth over text, friends. I mean, it's just
Brutal.
nonsense. Okay, are you ready for the? Are you ready for the Biden photos?
Sure. All right.
There you go.
So here we see Biden's garage where he kept his stolen classified documents that he was not authorized to take. And I mean, just look at his garage. I mean, I, I I'm not going to say my garage is perfect, okay?
Okay.
But I felt a lot better about my garage when I saw this photo. I'm like, wow. I mean, first of all, this guy is really unorganized. I mean, this looks like an episode from Hoarders or something. I mean,
All
this
right.
is just unbelievable. And look at this, look at the condition of that box. That is classified Afghanistan documents as encountered by the FBI on December 21st, 2022. That box has seen better days. And it's just sitting out open in his garage. I'm not sure where the Corvette is. Supposedly he stored things next to his Corvette too. And I don't know if this is the same garage or a different garage because I know he owns multiple houses, which I don't know how in the world he got so rich as a lunch pail Joe senator.
Really?
He
You
can
don't know how
own
people can own two houses? Come on, man. Okay, go on.
a house, a beach house. Wish I owned a beach house.
In Delaware, dude. Yeah.
Delaware.
People own vacation. Look, people own vacation houses all the time. And senators and people that make $200,000 a year over a lifetime can own two houses, especially if they have a working spouse, for sure. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
So
go to the next photo too. This is a good one for you.
Here we have some other boxes as well, and you can see top left zoomed in photograph of one box, another box. So all these boxes were in the garage, marked Afghanistan documents. So just to be clear, okay, my understanding is that when you are a U.S. senator, in order to
he's the vice president
or if you're the vice president.
Yeah. Okay.
But he even admitted that this was a 40-year thing. So going back 40 years, he was taking these documents. And the Her report even said when he was a private citizen. But anyways, most of the time, my understanding is that the way that a person like him, who's not president or vice president at the time, in order to even just view a classified document, you have to go into a secure facility, a secure room, and you're only allowed to view the document, and then you walk out without the document. You're not allowed to take the document out of that room, which is apparently what he did. And I think, who was it, Sandy Berger or somebody got in big trouble for stuffing his pants with classified documents. So Biden has had these documents for 40 years, some of them.
Well, yeah, not these, but yeah.
They've been in multiple locations all over the place. And the fascinating thing to me about this is that the very day that he decided, he basically told his AG, Merrick Garland, to pursue Trump and to raid his house over classified documents.
No, I'm just going to interrupt with you. No, Joe Biden did not tell Merrick Garland to do that.
He did.
He just didn't, Casey. He didn't.
Oh yeah. He
okay.
Did.
You have no. Everyone involved has said he didn't do that.
Okay. Well, number one, the very idea that the attorney general would do something so unprecedented and so dramatic. I mean, nothing like this has ever happened before.
Right.
Without the knowledge or the permission of the sitting president is crazy to start with.
It's not crazy to start with. It is the way it works. Okay, but anyway, go on. But it is the way it works.
It's the way it's supposed to work. Yeah.
And it's the way it did work. I mean, everyone involved says it did. I know you say it didn't. I don't know why or how you say that. Based on what? Other than the fact that you think it's crazy that they would, but then you say it's what's supposed to happen, but it's crazy that it would happen. So which is it? Is it that it's supposed to happen or that it's crazy that it happened?
Joe Biden is quoted as telling his Attorney General, you need to stop being, and I don't remember the exact words, I can find them for you, but basically he said to him before all this happened, you need to stop being so nice and you need to get serious about Donald Trump and going after him criminally.
Okay. No, I didn't. But anyway,
Okay.
go on. But go on about the boxes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, and I'm trying to find it here, but I know that the timing of it was very odd. That the day that they decided they were going to do this um, was the day that Biden suddenly announced that he had classified documents as well. So Biden's classified documents would never have come to light if it wasn't for the fact that his AG decided to go after his number one political rival over the same issue. And it was almost like he was like, oh crap, I could be in trouble for the same thing here. So I better figure out how to come clean on my classified documents before they suddenly discover them, and I get in trouble and accused of doing the same thing I'm accusing my number one political rival of. And on top of it all, here's what's really crazy to me is in the Her report, what we find out is that he willfully, and I'm going to read it for you directly. It says, our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. These materials include 1, marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan, and 2, notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwritten entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods. And this is where we see the two-tiered system of justice in full sight, because basically if you compare the case against Trump, the so-called case against Trump, and the case against Joe Biden, what you find is that Trump was charged with willfully retaining 21 documents with marked top secret. And Biden, according to a chart at the end of Her's report, retained 18 files with top secret. So Trump's got 21, Biden's got 18 top secret files. Trump was charged with willfully retaining 9 files with secret markings, the category of secret, and Biden had 36 papers with the same marking of secret. So here you see one had slightly more top secret, one had a lot more secret, and I'm like, why is Biden not being charged with the same thing? And the thing is, what's crazy to me is that Trump was president and Joe Biden was not president. So we've already established in a 2012 case with District Judge Amy Berman Jackson, who ruled that, quote, the National Archives does not have the authority to designate materials as presidential records. It lacks any right or means to control them. So in other words, the seizing of records is an extraordinary request that is unfounded and contrary to the Presidential Records Act's express terms and contrary to the traditional principles of administrative law. So what she established in her ruling was that the president, and this was about Clinton, who had stuff in his house that was classified, and former Barack Obama also had an unsecured warehouse where he stored classified documents for the better part of 2 years. There were no raids on either one of them. And so basically what this does is it establishes the right of a former president to designate what constitutes presidential records, but it also grants him the right under the law to maintain control over what he deems to be personal records. So Biden does not have the benefit of the Presidential Records Act. These were all records that were taken illegally and kept illegally and not secured. I mean, you can see the condition of all these things in these pictures. And it's just unbelievable that nothing's going to happen to Biden. And yet they're throwing the book at Trump because he had some boxes of things. So
and why is that, Casey? Why did Her, a Republican who did all this, what you think is great work, why did he say we recommend not charging Joe Biden with a crime?
I'm not saying that Hurd did great work. I'm just
Okay.
saying that these were his findings.
Okay.
And these are. I mean, he's got the evidence to show all this. He's
and said don't prosecute. So
no, no. Hold on. No one's going to dispute his findings.
Yeah.
But plenty of people are disputing his conclusions, which are you don't charge the guy. And why? What reason did he give? Because of his mental state. He's not mentally fit to stand trial, therefore we can't charge him.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he said. I don't think that's what he wrote. But I'll just say, in addition, and I'm sure you're whatever facts, wherever you got this stuff, is also the same thing about Mike Pence, vice president to Donald Trump, who had documents that same thing. So you've got Barack Obama. You've got
exactly the same thing, but okay.
No, it's exactly the same thing. You got Barack Obama. You've got Joe Biden. You've got Mike Pence. You've got Donald Trump. All of these people, we find out in recent years, have documents in their possession and have had for years or longer that should not
Biden's case.
That should not be in their possession. Why is one person charged and 3 not?
No, actually, that's not it at all. It's already been established that presidents, when they leave office, are entitled to take documents that
it hasn't. No, it explicitly has not.
Records Act, and that's what the finding of
it's Casey, please, buddy, please, because I know we've been through this and you haven't read the charges against Trump. You haven't read the indictment. It is explicit in the charges against Trump. It is explicit that what you're saying about the Presidential Records Act is the opposite of what Trump is claiming and what you're saying. It is literally the opposite.
How so?
It says that the Presidential Records Act says that records that were the property of the presidency remain the property of the presidency and not the individual.
That's their interpretation of the law.
No,
that's not
okay. No, that's not what she ruled on. That is not it at all. The Presidential Records Act is not unclear. It is not an interpretation. Now, you can either look it up or not.
I've looked it up.
Okay. Then I don't know how you've come to the conclusions you've come from, because it says precisely the opposite of what you're claiming and Trump is claiming. All I'm asking you is, if 4 people all had this, what you say is the same thing, why was 1 charged and 3 not?
Because it's Donald Trump.
Okay. I want to suggest to you another option, because 3 of those people did not obstruct justice. And the charges, again, if you would read them, you would know that it was not about the fact that the documents ended up at Mar-a-Lago. It was the fact that the documents were at Mar-a-Lago and not returned when they were asked, and then hidden, and then justice was obstructed in the capture. Now, I know you're going to shake your head for people that are just listening on the podcast, because you are, but that's the charge. And I know you haven't read them, because you've told me that you don't care about what the special prosecutor, Jack Smith, has in the charges against Trump. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but if you read them, or if you have read them,
case.
Okay, then you know that the charges, as they are laid out, describe why charges are being brought. Now, I'm glad that I'm glad you trust, as I said, said earlier, I'm glad you trust special prosecutors.
I don't necessarily trust special prosecutors.
Okay, you trust some special prosecutors.
Everything has to be weighed of its own merit at all times. Yeah, you can't just blanketly trust anyone or any one report or any one person blanketly.
But truthfully, Casey, what ability do you or I have to read a report about a report and then say, I conclude differently than the special prosecutor? Like this idea that somehow we're going to run around and decide. I say that the fact that you think
about things. I mean, if it appears, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's what? It's not
so Trump. Trump.
So No. So
Trump obstructed justice like a duck, and that's why he's
No.
being prosecuted, and Biden and Pence and Obama didn't, and that's why
This-
they're not. Okay.
No,
fair enough.
all of this record stuff, it has never been for a president. It has never been a criminal statute.
That's right,
Nara,
because they've never obstructed justice before. He's the first one to obstruct justice, Casey. This is all spelled out
That's his
in the
opinion.
charges.
Yeah, that's his opinion. I don't happen to agree with that, and a lot of legal analysts don't. I'm not the only one.
Okay, fair enough. Then if you were on the jury, so can we agree to this, that we can leave it to a jury to decide?
Well, I think the charges in the whole case should be dropped based on this Biden report.
They're going to make that argument, and a jury can decide, right? Do you trust the jury?
I don't know. I don't know enough about any of it yet. I just think the whole thing is political. That's what I'm talking about with the duck. It looks political.
Yeah,
It
not to me.
smells-
It doesn't.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean,
I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't look political. So maybe we see the world as we are and not as it is, but it doesn't look to me like it's political. It looks to me like we have different facts. The reason Mike Pence is not being charged and Donald Trump is, there's a reason why Mike Pence is not being charged.
The reason that Clinton wasn't charged, and the reason that Obama wasn't charged, and the reason their homes weren't raided.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a reason. There's a reason. All right. Well, okay. Hey, we've got some music to do. Are we done? Can we share a little music? You still got music in your heart?
Sure.
Okay, you don't want to know. Yeah. Do you need a breather? I didn't even put up here.
I feel like I've got a lot more to say, but that's all right. It's all good. I know we're out of time. We got to get to music.
Yeah, so. I know. We took too long. Alex put up earlier, my heart is pounding. I was going to put that up for you. All right. Do you want to go first, or how do you want to do this?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. Okay. So this little number is one that I wrote yesterday for my wife. I'm trying to work on writing my own songs. I've written now 2, and this one's not even a full song. This one's only a portion of a song. I mean, I think it gets close. It's like 1 minute and 40 seconds long, something like that.
Oh, yeah. That's great, man. Well, good for you for writing some songs, man. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
I'm impressed.
I said I love you, that I love you forever, and I think that I just might. I said I promised you my heart and soul, and I give it all of my might. Yeah, I'm gonna start over because I didn't realize the camera was all off there. I said I love you, that I love you forever, and I think that I just might. I promised you my heart and soul, and I give it all of my mind. It looks like I just might. Well, it looks like I just might. We know love is love, and that it don't come with a guarantee. We wonder whether we can stand together for this time or eternity. It started as a choice, and one that was so exciting and free. Oh, big, oh, beautiful life commitment it has come to be. Oh, I said I love you, that I'd love you forever, and it looks like I just might. Promised you my heart and soul, and I give it all of my mind. It looks like I just might. It looks like, darling, it looks like I just might.
Nice.
Yeah, I've done
Love
better
it,
versions
man.
of that, but I like this little idea, that I promised you I'd love you forever, and it looks like I just might. I like that after we've been together for 40 years. That's really fun.
That's awesome.
So anyway, okay, are you ready? Which one do you got for us?
Yeah. This is you know how much I love Jim Croce. So this is a Jim Croce song that I've been trying to perfect, kind of working on here and there, and I thought I would share it with you and all your great listeners.
Beautiful.
All right. Highway got his bums. 42nd Street got Big Jim Walker. He's a bull shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he's big and dumb as a man can't come, but he's stronger than a country horse. And when the bad folks all get together at night, you know they all call Big Jim boss, just because. And they say you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the old Ranger, and you don't mess around with Joe. Well, out of South Alabama come a country boy. He said, I'm looking for a man named Jim. I am a pool shooting boy. My name is Willie McCoy. But down home they just call me Slim. Yeah, I'm looking for the king of 42nd Street. He drive a drop-top Cadillac. And last week he took all my money, and it may sound funny, but I come to get my money back. And everybody say, Jack, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't pull the mask off the old Ranger, and you don't mess around with Joe Biden.
Fantastic. Great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, thanks, buddy. All the best to you. And
same to you. Thanks for
we'll be on
me.
Always glad to have you. Alex also says, great job, Casey. Loves Croce.
Nice.
Alex was good enough to give me some suggestions about my music. So we appreciate that. We appreciate that all the time. I did play it a little fast. I was a little nervous and tried to get this thing done. I had a lot of things on my screen moving around. It's shocking, isn't it, how well you can know a song?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know that I wrote that yesterday and then worked on it a little bit more. But like, I know it. I made it. It's totally in my head. But then you get nervous, or you sing the wrong thing, or you feel your finger hit the wrong note on a chord, and just all of a sudden your brain is just like, you know.
It's over at that point, man.
Alex,
I feel your pain, brother.
Yeah, Alex, no harm. I'll take it. I actually, after you wrote that, I thought I should try this as a really slow ballad. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe I'll do cover versions of my own song. All right, Casey, love you, man. And to all of you that have been in the chat, Alex and Nick and Mike and Trisha, Larry, Peggy, Yabbits, Mark, and way back. Yeah, of course, Jim from earlier, Maureen. Good to see you, Trish, David, all of you. Really appreciate you being a part of all of this, and follow along. If you share this on YouTube with other people, you know, they might like it too. I know it's long. Nobody wants to listen for an hour and 20 minutes to people telling us Joe Rogan. Then people like,
we're so interested. It's no problem.
Totally. We could do this all day. I will probably pick it up on text in about an hour.
I think I'm interesting and you think you're interesting. So that's all that matters.
Totally. Yeah. And I think you're interesting. I think you're terribly interesting. Okay. Hey, everybody, we'll see you back here in these same places for the podcast and stuff tomorrow. So over and outie.